Welcome to the deep dive. Now, for anyone who manages or, participates in a hunting lease, thinking about liability, about coverage, well, those questions always seem to come up.
They really do. It's a specific area, isn't it?
Yeah, and it can feel pretty perplexing sometimes. So today, we're digging into hunting lease insurance. We want to figure out who's actually covered,
Right.
because sometimes it seems people are covered without even having their name down on the application, which might surprise you.
Mhm.
Our mission here is really just to cut through that confusion.
Absolutely. Think of this as, well, a shortcut, getting you straight to the essentials of understanding this vital part of hunting.
Uh-huh.
Because we're not just talking about, feeling secure. It's about the real nuts and bolts, the practical side of liability for hunters and for the landowners.
Yeah, peace of mind is one thing, but knowing the details.
Exactly. Knowing how to protect everyone involved without drowning in paperwork.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. When I think about a hunting lease, maybe one with, say, a dozen members, maybe more, my first thought is, okay, does every single person need their own policy?
Yeah, that's a logical first thought. Makes sense based on other insurance, right?
Right.
But actually, for hunting leases, things often work a bit differently. The industry's found a more efficient way for groups.
More efficient how?
Well, instead of individual policies, you usually have something called a hunting lease risk management package. Think of it as one big liability policy for the whole lease operation,
Ah, okay, package deal.
pretty much. And it streamlines the coverage. So the hunters, they're covered even if they aren't individually named on the application form itself.
Wait, really? Not named at all?
Not on the initial application, no. Their coverage comes from being included in the main lease agreement. Or sometimes there's a hunt club roster, kept with the lease papers.
Okay, that sounds simpler, maybe. But also, if you don't list the hunters directly, how does the insurance company know who's actually covered? I mean, how does that work in practice?
It's actually quite straightforward, which is really the point of these packages.
Okay.
The hunters just need to be listed on, or actually signed onto, the lease agreement itself.
Oh.
Or, like I said, be on that hunt club roster that goes along with the lease agreement.
So the agreement or the roster is the key document.
Precisely. I mean, imagine you're running a hunt club, maybe a big one with 100 members.
Wow. Yeah.
Listing each one individually on an insurance app, that would be a massive administrative headache, wouldn't it?
Totally. Constant updates.
Exactly. So this approach avoids all that, makes it much easier for everyone involved to just make sure they're properly covered without tons of extra steps.
That does sound like a huge help for larger groups. Fantastic. But it does bring up another question. What about, say, special cases? Like kids, children under 18. Are they automatically covered, or are there different rules for them?
Good question. Yes, children are covered under the policy,
Okay, that's good to know.
which is a relief for families, wanting to bring younger ones along. The main condition, the key thing, is they have to be accompanied by an adult.
Makes sense.
And while you can list them on the lease agreement if you want, they don't actually have to be a signed party because, well, they're minors.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Clear enough. And what about guests? Maybe you bring a friend along for a day hunt or something. Does the policy cover them too, or is that separate?
Nope, they're included too. The policy automatically includes guest liability coverage.
Automatically. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, there is a condition. For a guest to be covered, they have to be on the property at the same time as a hunter who is listed, someone on the lease agreement or that club roster we talked about.
So they have to overlap on the property.
Exactly. They don't need to be standing shoulder to shoulder the whole time, just be there concurrently.
Gotcha.
But, and this is important, that guest liability coverage, it only applies to hunting-related incidents. Ah, okay. Only hunting incidents.
Right. And only incidents that happen on the leased property itself.
Okay, that seems fair. So it sounds like a really streamlined system for getting everyone covered, which makes me wonder about the paperwork side again. That lease agreement or the club roster, do you need to actually provide that, send it in when you first buy the policy?
No, actually. And that's another way these packages are designed for ease of use.
Oh, okay.
You do not need to supply the lease agreement when you purchase the policy.
So when do they need it?
Only if you end up having to file a claim.
Okay. That makes sense.
If a claim is filed, then yes, the insurance adjuster will definitely ask for a copy of that lease agreement or the roster.
Why them?
Well, that's how they verify who actually had permission to be on the property for hunting when the incident occurred.
I see. Proof of permission.
Exactly. So While you don't need it right at the start, it's still super important to make sure all your hunters are correctly listed or signed onto that agreement or on the roster, because you'll need to produce it if there's a claim. Right, have ready just in case.
Precisely. The whole idea behind these risk management packages is really to be as complete, but also as simple to manage as possible.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the key things we figured out for you today. First off, individual policies for every single hunter. Generally not needed.
Right. Big relief for many.
Yeah. Instead, it's simpler documentation, like that lease agreement or a hunt club roster, that makes sure your members are covered.
That's the core of it.
Plus, we learned there are clear rules for children, and guests they're covered too, with just a couple of common sense conditions.
Accompanied kids, concurrent guests.
Exactly. And maybe the most convenient part, you don't even need to provide that lease agreement up front when you buy the policy.
Just have it on hand.
Right. It genuinely simplifies what could otherwise feel like a pretty big administrative task.
It really does. And having this clarity, understanding these specific details, it just takes a potentially complicated thing like hunting lease insurance and makes it much more manageable.
Gives you confidence.
Absolutely. It offers, real security for everyone involved, the hunters, the club, the landowners. It just empowers you with the knowledge to run your lease effectively, responsibly.
So knowing all of this now, what unexpected detail, maybe things you hadn't considered before, might you now go back and check in your own agreements? Or perhaps think about differently when you're planning your next outdoor adventure?